It is finally here, and it's a sigh of relief to all Tesla stock investors because when Tesla launched the refresh Model 3, they first launched it in China, and then only many months later, it was launched in North America. But not the case with the Model Y. The refresh Model Y is already in the US. It just launched. You can actually still get the old Model Y in the US, but people can now order the new Model Y. And on the configurator, you can choose exactly which option you want, and the new Model Y is called Launch Series. Sandy Monroe is looking to get his hands on the new Model Y, so I'm definitely looking forward to that teardown. Now, if you look at the price of the new Model Y, it looks a bit strange because it's $60,000 basically, while the old performance version is $51,500. And the performance, of course, is faster, although it has slightly less range. The new Model Y actually does have a bit more range than the old all-wheel drive version, so that's very good. It's not by a lot, it's 9 more miles, but still it's good. And the 0 to 60 speed is 4.1 seconds instead of 4.8, so that's much faster. But here's the thing about the Launch Series Model Y in the US. Any color is already included, so usually Ultra Red, for example, would cost you $2,000, but that's already included. A tow hitch, which is normally $1,000. You guessed it, it's already included. And you can choose a white color interior, and you guessed it too, it's already included. And normally that would be extra $1,000. The only thing that you can't get on the new Model Y is a 7-seat interior, which normally you could get on the regular all-wheel drive version. And of course, the wheels. You also get the better wheels for free, which normally would be about $2,000, so that saves you more money. So knowing that you save $2,000 potentially on a color, $2,000 on the wheels, $1,000 on a tow hitch, $1,000 on the interior, and then $8,000 on FSD, you end up saving $13,000, making the price actually $1,000 less than that of the old all-wheel drive long-range version. And then on top of that, you actually do get a vehicle with more range that is substantially faster. This vehicle, compared to the old Model Y, actually is objectively better. Not just because of the rear folding seats, which can do that with a press of a button, but also because of the much better suspension, which was a bit stiff on the old one. There's no doubt that this new vehicle will sell just as well and likely better than the old Model Y, because this one is just better. And I'm not kidding when I say it's much better. The suspension has improved. Specifically, the damping has an improvement of 51%. That is massive. Not to even mention the upgraded interior lighting, which at night, that's gonna look good. And Tesla now has officially made a comment about why it put the turnstile back. They said is designed for families, and they want something that's easy for all members of the family to use. And my European friends and all Tesla stock investors worldwide will like that the Model Y has also just launched in Europe. So this time, Tesla is nailing this launch. It's all synchronized very well, unlike the launch of the Model 3 last year. And I can actually say last year because in the US it was launched last year in 2024, but in China it was launched in 2023. And here's a complete list of everything that's new in the refreshed North American Model Y. It's 4% more aerodynamic. It has a bit more range. Up to 50% of the parts in the new car are new, actually. And look at this, the glass roof has 7 times better heat refraction versus the old Model Y via new silver coating. That's going to make a big difference in hot weather places. And not only will this reduce the load on the HVAC system, but actually it will give you a bit more range because the vehicle will have to use less energy to cool your vehicle down. And I personally love this one. The front bumper camera is here, which is a first for the Model Y, with a sprayer actually to clean off debris. I didn't actually know about this until now. The Model Y not only has rear folding seats, but it has the fastest power folding rear seats in the industry. And despite having more range, This new vehicle is actually 28 pounds or 14 kilograms heavier than before. A slight increase in range is also explained by the vehicle being a little bit lower, which I'm not really sure if I'm a big fan of that, although I would be okay with it personally because I just drive in the city, but those that drive on dirt roads occasionally may not be big fans of that. But hey, you can get bigger wheels if you need that, or you can upgrade the vehicle also, so it's not really a big deal if you need it for that. The car will definitely feel substantially quieter because of 20% less wind noise, and you will have 66% better call quality via improved cabin mics. Yeah, the old Model Y mics, when I call someone in that vehicle, it's okay. I'm not complaining, but it could be better. And Tesla realized this and made improvements. Oh, and the whole body structure is also a bit stiffer, which actually helps with handling and all of that. Braking performance has been improved for more energy recapture. The audio quality was already very good on the old Model Y, but it just got even better. Car enthusiasts will definitely appreciate this. The doors will have more premium door thunk closing sound. Oh, it will have 27% more downforce on rear tires. That, I believe, helps with acceleration. Oh, well, this is really smart. The front seats automatically move forward so the rear seat headrests don't hit the front seats when folding down. I saw a video of someone showing that the rear seats, you click a button and then because the front seats were moved quite far back because there were people sitting on them, the rear seats could not go down, but you had people sitting on these front seats, so that makes sense. And the person suggested that Tesla will do a software update later to fix this issue, but the software update is not even needed because Tesla already thought about it. It's just that if someone's sitting in the front seats, of course, the seat will not automatically move, which is smart. Overall, just more premium interior materials. There are quite a few more smaller improvements. And it's not just that wind noise was reduced, more sound insulation was also added for a quieter ride. Oh, this is good. If you are really hot and the driver, let's say driving the vehicle, is really cold, you can just turn off one of the sides. Before you couldn't do that. Oh, we got a slight explanation for why the top speed was reduced from 155 to 125 miles per hour. So where it says this is due to more efficient tires, but also I think it gives Tesla a bit more range to work with because of how the gear would be positioned. They're also saying that handling has been improved. So not only is the suspension softer and overall better, but the handling is also improved. This is difficult to achieve. 10 times improved connectivity to phone. So the car will recognize your phone from farther away easier and faster. And some people, I heard complaints about having to take your phone out of the pocket to unlock the vehicle. I never had to do that really, maybe a few times, but very rarely. But I know some people had a problem with that. With this new vehicle, you should never have a problem with it. And one more thing that's already included in the launch series edition is a mobile charger, so you save another $275. Oh, and the acceleration boost is already included in the price of a vehicle, which is $2,000. So yeah, when you consider everything that you are really getting, Tesla is not improving or increasing the price, but in reality, in practical terms, yes, it is more expensive because not everyone is going to get every single option that Tesla is presenting here to people. And a big shout out goes to Sawyer. He actually pulled the trigger and he ordered the new Model Y. Congratulations to Sawyer. And I'm not the only one that's saying that. This is a huge relief for Tesla stock investors. I mean, the Model Y launching everywhere basically all at once. James also agrees. Availability of the new Model Y in the US and Canada and Europe simultaneously with China is very good. I think Tesla got this. I agree. And see, this is the front seat moving while the rear seat is folding. So that's good to see that in action. The new Model Y is also being now spotted at Tesla stores across China. Tesla also made a pretty big announcement here, which will affect the vehicle prices in Canada. They will increase substantially. These are actually big price increases. Model Y prices will increase between $4,000 to $9,000 depending on the trim. Model Y will increase by $4,000 on all trims These are big. So my Canadian friends, if you want a Tesla, right now is a good time to order. Do not wait. But what's the reason for such a drastic price increase? Well, supposedly it's due to the exchange rate. The Canadian dollar is getting weaker while the US dollar remains strong. And really, we Canadians are getting a better deal at the moment currently, because the Model 3 performance in the US is currently basically $55,000, which makes it 79,000 Canadian at the current exchange rates. But currently that same vehicle in Canada is $71,000, saving you about $8,000. It's a good deal. There's one more possible explanation for the price increase, actually. If Tesla plans to introduce less expensive new models or trims for these vehicles, this move could be to position the portfolio ahead of that. But I'm not sure I agree with James here, because if that was the rationale, we would see the same thing in the US, and we are not seeing that. This is how much one Canadian dollar is worth than priced in USD. So as you can see, since the election, it's just been going downhill largely. Also, because the prices will specifically increase on February 1st, this suggests to us that the price increase is also largely driven due to the fact that President Trump will impose 25% tariffs on Canadian goods coming into the US. And the Canadian government has said it will impose the same tariffs on goods coming from the US into Canada. Here's some more good news for us Tesla stock investors. Tesla China announces a 30-day free trial for enhanced autopilot. We have seen that in the US for FSD. Tesla is doing the same thing, but for enhanced autopilot in China. And we have heard before that FSD is coming to China, and this is definitely making it more likely that FSD is coming to China sooner than later. And Tesla's engineer, Phil Duan, says that Tesla FSD will surpass Waymo without hardware changes. He actually replied to this post. It's true, Tesla is way ahead in geographical coverage, but 99% FSD on 100% of roads is of limited value, because you still cannot use it as a robotaxi. I would be shocked and delighted if it managed to get to Waymo level safety without hardware changes. Although James Wong said that he is long Tesla, but that's where Phil replies with, prepare to be shocked. Well, I certainly like being shocked by good news. So thank you, Phil. And there's a wave of a new FSD update. V12.6.2 has started rolling out to owners with hardware 3. And Cybertruck is getting V13.2.5. Here are the release notes. Oh, and here's someone getting another free FSD trial in the US again, and he's been subscribed already, but he's gonna take the complimentary free month. And Omar now has FSD V13.2.5, and he had a zero intervention drive through 98 minutes of LA nightmare rush hour traffic. He says he didn't think it was possible, but it's even smoother than V13.2.2. In particular, he noticed speed bumps are smoother, and the way it starts turning before the last car has passed is also more seamless and less scary. So it looks like another improved, probably fine-tuned version of the model we already know and love. The drive was 27 miles, by the way. Oh, and this is actually a pretty important insight. Pay close attention to this one. Omar says, it is shocking to me that people haven't woken up to the reality that they are completely leapfrogging Waymo yet. It is so obvious if you ride in both a Waymo vehicle and a Tesla vehicle with the latest FSD V13 version on hardware 4. Even my girlfriend yesterday, says Omar, said as we were riding in one, wow, I can't believe how rough this feels now after FSD. Used to feel so smooth. I believe she's talking about Waymo versus Tesla, saying Waymo feels rough compared to FSD V13. Like, look at this. Waymo can't do any of this today. Can't go on highways, can go most places. And FSD is starting to get to a place where it also doesn't have interventions, but is much smoother. This approach will continue to scale and leave Waymo in the dust. He believes it is so obvious, and I don't disagree with him really. Someone though points out that hardware for fragmentation grows. Cybertruck and Refresh Model Y both have front bumper cameras that will be leveraged, of course, for better performance. So what does that mean for the Refresh Model 3, which does not have a front bumper camera? It's actually really simple. Omar points out that his Model 3 performance has no front bumper camera and drives much better than his Cybertruck. Going forward, it will be part of all vehicles. New cars getting features doesn't make your car worse. Can we stop crying anytime there is progress on hardware and just enjoy the ride, he asks. And now prepare for some very important news. As you can see, I liked the post and I bookmarked it. That's how important it is. I've heard from quite a few smart, sophisticated, and very rich investors saying that Nvidia is going to dominate Tesla because Nvidia has a solution to solve full self-driving basically. But now Nvidia itself has revealed a few things to us. It explains how long it thinks it will take for them to solve full self-driving with their technology. And we are certainly very familiar with Atlas saying, when Tesla solves unsupervised FSD, other automakers will also solve it shortly thereafter using Nvidia's technology. But Nvidia's head of automotive just said fully autonomous cars are not close and unlikely to go into full use on public roads until well into the next decade. So literally, the company selling the hardware plus software suite to help legacy auto work toward autonomy just said it's likely going to take them a decade plus, more than a decade from here. And by then, long ago, Tesla will have already solved full self-driving, making it safer than human driving. But there's another point to be made. The funny thing is, even if they do solve it shortly after Tesla, they will still be leagues behind Tesla. By the time others solve it, FSD will have improved way beyond just simply being solved. If Legacy isn't planning on licensing FSD, they will just be eating Tesla's dust. But the thing is, most aren't even trying to solve for generalized autonomy. It's all geofence. It only works in certain areas. And Dylan just gets it here. Everyone that thinks they will not buy a Tesla now will sing a different tune when you can just press a button and wake up at your destination. So that's right. A certain button is coming to all Teslas, which will bring unlimited joy and happiness to all of us Tesla stock investors and anyone in Tesla vehicles, which, by the way, that button is not to be confused with the certain button that women have, because the name is going to be, I think, basically the same. It's going to be called the G button or a go button. Just imagine single guys bringing their dates, pressing on the button and looking at the face of their woman, just enjoying the ride while being productive, like taking selfies and stuff. Dan Imes just made a few comments about Tesla. His $650 bull case does not even account for any value from Tesla's human robot Optimus, which could become, he said, a major upside catalyst for the Tesla story. I feel like he's already leaving an excuse or a lot of room for him to later easily increase his price target for Tesla by a lot. There's also some rumors that Tesla was expected to produce 50 human robots per week in December of 2024 and achieve a production of at least 10,000 units in 2025. These are anonymous sources from China, supposedly. I'm not sure how credible these are, so I wouldn't take these too seriously, but certainly there's something going on. And now here's a list of questions which will be asked on Tesla's next earnings call, which is scheduled for this coming Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Number 1, is unsupervised FSD still planned to be released in Texas and California this year? What hurdles still exist to make this happen? My guess is Elon will probably say yes, this year is still scheduled, because very recently we saw from Tesla's team and Elon himself saying that FSD is going to be solved not just towards the end of this year, but more like the first half of this year. As in, there will be robot taxis deployed in some place in the United States of America, is, I assume, what he really means by saying things like that. And I'm definitely curious about this, especially with the release of V13, which, I mean, if automakers try that, they will definitely, I think, would be more interested in trying FSD, as in licensing it. So, are there any discussions with other auto companies about licensing FSD? The moment there's one licensing deal, I believe Tesla stock is going to shoot up. Next question, what is the status on mass production of the Tesla Semi? How do you project it will affect revenue at scale? I personally believe it will have substantial impact on Tesla's eventual revenue and bottom line. And the factory has been coming along pretty well, and mass production should be starting relatively soon. Next, can you please tie purchase FSD to our owner accounts versus locked to the car? This will help us enjoy it in any Tesla we drive or buy and reward us for hanging in so long. Some of us since 2017. You know what? I think it would not be a bad idea. For example, let's say you purchase FSD before, like pick a random date. As long as you purchased it before a certain time frame, maybe you have one FSD transfer that you can use at any time or something like that. Next question, is Optimus now mostly designed, locked for 2025 production? When will Tesla start selling Optimus and price? Elon has said publicly that long-term shareholders of Tesla will have the ability to invest in his other companies. Could you provide some clarity and or color as to what that looks like? Brokerage firms use FIFO, so anyone who trades won't have the true length of time as investor. Yeah, I would really like to invest a little bit of money into XAI and definitely into X. Is it expected that Tesla will need to upgrade Hardware 3 vehicles? And if so, what is the timeline and expected impact to Tesla's capex? I think Elon will say, we expect full self-driving to be safer than human driving eventually in Hardware 3. But the reality is, you will only for sure 100% know the answer to that question once you solve FSD and make it safer than human driving on newer hardware. And then you will try and see if you can water the software down and deploy it on older hardware vehicles. And when you see what the performance is actually like, and if then it doesn't work, only then I think Tesla and Elon Musk will announce, oh, we do need to have a hardware upgrade if the hardware upgrade is even needed. But if Elon said that right now, then Tesla would sort of be forced by their customers and the community to maybe even start upgrading the cars now, which could be counterproductive because maybe they will solve FSD and make it safer than human driving substantially with, let's say, AI 5, which Tesla is already working with on Cybercab. Is there a new affordable Tesla model coming soon? I think it's wise for Elon to actually not answer that question until the car is actually announced. Is a Roadster still launching this year? The answer to that question, Elon, I think will say yes, but will it actually? We'll find out. I sort of like this question, but I'm not sure Elon can actually really answer this unless we already have a plan for it, a very concrete plan. What technical breakthroughs will define V14 of FSD, given then V13 is photon to control? And this question, I would sort of be curious for Elon to answer this. No urgency though, and it doesn't change anything about Tesla stock overall. Has Tesla given up on ramping their solar roof product? I expect that Tesla will actually talk about this, even without having to ask this particular question. What is the status of 4680 cells produced with Tesla's dry battery electrode process? Have any been shipped to Cybertruck customers? When will all Cybertruck production use dry battery electrode cells? People want to know. When are we going to get the extended battery pack for the Cybertruck, and what's the range? Oh, I think many people will actually be curious to know about this to some degree. What is your current outlook timing on changes of rescinding the $7,500 US federal tax credit? And I definitely want to know the answer to this question. When will there be a new CEO compensation package presented and considered for the next stage of the company's growth? I personally also definitely want to know, when is the rear-wheel drive Cybertruck variant coming? Speaking of Elon's compensation, Gary Bly believes that the Supreme Court of Delaware will overturn McCormick's decision to rescind Elon's compensation before the year ends. So that's a long time from now. I agree with Alexandra here. Being patient has no upside. We have to make this loud and clear that this has to be done faster. So I disagree with Gary that we just have to be patient. No, let's make some noise. Speaking of noise, Tesla is definitely making some noise here. It just sued the European Union over electric vehicle duties. I believe this is because of additional tariffs put on vehicles from China, which are sent to Europe. And Tesla joined the lawsuit together with BYD, SAIC, and Geely. Even if they win the lawsuit, I think the European Union will still find a way to impose higher tariffs. Now, maybe tariffs will be lowered for some of these companies, but I think they will stay in place. If they are lower, they're going to just put a new tariff. Oh, check this out. You can bet on Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire this year, and currently the odds are 13% according to Polymarket. Elon's current net worth is 432, so it only needs to more than roughly double. But when you think about the number, 430 billion doubling. That's a lot. And now some Elon Musk news. The Doge clock just appeared on the US debt clock website showing real-time US savings, and it already saved. These are billions. 15 billion already and counting. We are also finding out why Vivek Ramaswamy is no longer going to be with Doge. We know that he is going to run for governor of Ohio, but also Elon Musk did not like a few things, and therefore recently he made it known that he wanted Ramaswamy out of Doge. Supposedly one of the reasons was due to a discussion of H-1B visas, but they already wanted him out before Vivek Ramaswamy made that infamous tweet about the visas. Here's that full infamous post from Vivek. This definitely gives Elon more control and more power to move Doge in a direction that he wants, because now he's basically the only leader of it. And Elon Musk posted an attack on his main timeline. Sam Altman literally testified to Congress that he wouldn't get OpenAI compensation, and now he wants $10 billion. What a liar. And President Trump acknowledged that there is strong dislike between Elon and Sam Altman.
I mean, Elon doesn't like one of those people.
And Elon Musk will certainly, and all of us Tesla stock investors will be happy to hear that President Trump says he will be lowering corporate tax rates on products made in the United States from 21% to 15%. And as we know, Teslas sold in the US are made in the US, basically. So that's definitely good news for Tesla stock investors. Also, Elon Musk is attacking New York Times. He's calling it pure propaganda. This is because the New York Times is worried about this issue, how labeling cartels terrorists could hurt the US economy. These people, they bring in something that kills many people, so I don't think it's unjustified to call them terrorists. Elon also responded to certain accusations. There's a post, Musk and Tesla remain bulletproof following Nazi salute accusations. I already covered it in detail yesterday, so watch that video if you haven't watched it yet, but Elon responded here. Don't say yes to Nazi accusations. He's playing with words here. This is supposed to sound like yes. Some people will gobble down. Stop goring your enemies. His pronouns would have been he, Himmler. Bet you did not see that coming. Oh, Elon. Elon certainly has his way with words, and here's another certain movement that did not get any negative attention at the time. Elon continues here. It was astonishing how insanely hard legacy media tried to cancel me for saying my heart goes out to you, and moving my hand from my heart to the audience. In the end, this deception will just be another nail in the coffin of legacy media. A quick channel update going forward. Sometime in the future, I will probably update the name of the channel to Map Posters on News and Money, just to emphasize the fact that I will be covering more news stories, the most interesting news stories from the whole world. And Elon Musk actually comments on most of them, so I will always include Elon's commentary, obviously, in these segments. Anyway, that will be it for today's news. My name is Matt Pochis. I believe that Tesla stock is going to $1,000 for sure, and after that, well above it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Monday.